Hello, welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. Andrew Musgrove. Hope you guys are doing well. Please give this video a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you're listening later on the audio channel. Please do leave us a rating and review. Your support, as always, is greatly appreciated. We've got a whole week of content coming up for you. And on Saturday, you will get to listen to an interview with Clive Tilsley, the legendary football commentator who was covering the game at Wembley for CBS Sports. I caught up with him to chat about the game and his unique way of bringing home Newcastle United's victory, which was absolutely tremendous. So watch out for that. Today's video is all about the reaction to Newcastle United's Carabao Cup victory over Liverpool. The reaction from some fans of other clubs, and they're kind of, how shall we put this politely? They've looked down on the celebrations. They've looked down on how we as a fan base are reacting to this, and I'm not for it. So I wanted to come on and address it and call them out and say it's totally unnecessary, the way they've reacted. Because I think also there's a lot you can read into it. There's a lot you can conclude from some of the comments from other clubs, and we'll get into that in a moment. But has it sunk in yet? Newcastle United have finally lifted trophy after 70 years of hurt, 70 years since the last domestic trophy. And of course, the last bit of major silverware in 1969. It still doesn't feel real, I don't think. It certainly hasn't sunk in for me. I'm having little moments here and there where the realization hits. I'm still scrolling on social media and finding those videos and tearing up at it. And when I do think about it, I do have to fight back the tears because it just does not seem real. Unbelievable. And of course, now we're gearing up for that trophy parade, which will happen on Saturday, the 29th of March. We're waiting for full details, but it's going to be at the Town Moor. And what a day that will be. Ahead of that, we have a special Everything's Black and White podcast live event at the Tyneside Irish Centre with not just one Newcastle United legend, but two Newcastle United legends, Ryan Taylor and James Purge, will be on the podcast. It's a special ticketed event, like I say, at the Irish Centre, which is on the Gallagher, just opposite St James's Park. The link for the tickets is in the podcast description box. So do make sure you click on that and come along. It's going to be a massive celebration. And what better way to do it than to spend it in the company of two Newcastle United legends. Tickets are flying out. So make sure you hit that link and get yours while you can. But on to the main part of this video. And like I say, it's about the reaction of certain fans and certain fans with big following as well, who I think should know better. I'm not going to mention any names because, quite frankly, I don't actually know their names. I've just seen their comments and taken those down rather than concentrating on who they are or where they are from. But I think the comments I have seen are uncalled for. I think they're unnecessary. Part of me thinks they're probably done because they know Newcastle United as a fan base are quite easily rattled, for want of a better phrase, and they will bite when you provide them the bait. But you know what? I think in this instance, biting at some of those comments is totally justified because who is anyone to tell us how to celebrate this moment? We've waited so long. Who is anyone to make out that it's a small club mentality for having the audacity to parade the trophy? Who is anyone to tell us that the Carabao Cup does not matter? Because it does. It is a major piece of silverware. And some of the fans who have said some uncalled for things are supporting clubs who would snap your right hand off to be in this position that Newcastle United find themselves in. I mean, even before we talk about the Carabao Cup success, let's talk about Newcastle United going for the Champions League and being in a really strong position to get it. You look at some Manchester United fans, it's more influencers, granted. We'll call them fans. You might argue against that, but you look at those fans who are saying Carabao Cup doesn't matter. You know, why are you parading in front of thousands? It doesn't matter. Why are you crying? It doesn't matter. Look where Manchester United are. You would give anything to be in a final and winning it and have a chance of qualifying for the Champions League. Don't make out that you wouldn't, because you would. Of course you would. Your season's a disaster. It looks like the next couple of years at Manchester United will be a disaster. So playing down Newcastle United's achievement, I think it's a bit of jealousy. And also, I think it's a bit of fear, to be quite honest with you, because as Man United fall away, Newcastle United are just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And they're going to become a regular team battling for honours, battling for the Champions League. This is just the start for Newcastle United. It is the springboard to becoming an elite side in the Premier League. And we've shown this season that you can beat the very best. We showed on Sunday against Liverpool, you can beat the very best and be dominant within it. And I think some of the comments show that they're scared of Newcastle United. They're scared of what's to come. I think deep down they realise that this is just the beginning. Now, from a Newcastle United point of view, they've got to make sure that they build on Sunday. They've laid the foundations. Now let's start building the walls and putting the roof on, if you want that kind of analogy or metaphor. It's down to Newcastle United to do that. It's down to the owners and Eddie Howe and the players to realise what they can achieve, that this is just the start, But I do think other clubs and their fans who are being a little bit, as I say, uncalled for and unnecessary in their comments, they're scared of Newcastle United and what is to come, because so often we reference Newcastle United as this sleeping giant, and it's been awakening, but we're past that stage now. It is very much awake and causing absolute havoc. And the good thing about Sunday against Liverpool, not only did they win that final, but they dominated it. 2 on the scoreline. It could have been 3 or 4. Really, it could have been. Newcastle United were absolutely brilliant in every element of that game. Physicality, desire, commitment, off the pitch as well. The fans, fantastic. And I think winning a final is fantastic. Winning it against the best side in the country and in such a dominant way sends out a huge message to other rivals. This is what Newcastle United can do on their very best day. And by the way, this is what Newcastle United can do without 3 players who would pretty much be guaranteed a starting spot in a cup final, starting 11. No Sven Botman, no Anthony Gordon, and no Lewis Hall. And look at how Newcastle United won that final. Right from the word go, the better side across the entirety of the pitch, better tactical plan, executed perfectly. Look what Newcastle United can do, and they're not even full strength. And I think the fans who are putting them comments out there, downplaying their achievement, they're doing it because they're scared and they're fearful of what's to come. And we take that and we embrace that and we roll with that and we use that to get to where we know Newcastle United want to be and what they can be. Now, a lot has been made about Paul Scholes' comments on the overlap and about how he was asked about whether Eddie Howe deserves a statue, and he said, well, you've only won the League Cup. There was an expletive, and he said most managers, or most teams, try to get knocked out of that competition. Now, look, the fallout to that has been huge. That clip went viral. What I have to say is, you look at that clip in isolation, it doesn't come across well. Scholes comes across really bad in it, but if you look at it in context of the entirety of the episode of the overlap, Scholes is complimentary about Howe, he's complimentary about Newcastle United. He gives a fair and balanced look at the final. Of course, that clip in isolation doesn't look good, but I would implore you to watch the full thing and actually see it's probably more of a jovial, passing remark from Scholes than anything else. But granted, it's probably a comment that he didn't need to make. And it does raise questions about how these so-called top teams look at the Carabao Cup final. For some Liverpool fans, it wasn't a priority. Other teams describe it as a Mickey Mouse Cup. But for me, that doesn't matter. It's a major piece of silverware where the prize is European football. But for Newcastle United, it's more than that. It is that first piece of silverware in 70 years domestically and since 1969. It's the first League Cup they've won as well. So Man United might not care about it, although, as said, they definitely will do. They definitely would have taken it. Liverpool might not care about it, but I think they turned up and they wanted to win it. They just didn't turn up to win it. And any other fan base who wants to play down Newcastle's achievements, you would want a major piece of silverware, and I think the League Cup gets bad press. Would I want to win the FA Cup? I would. Am I turning my nose up at winning the League Cup? Not at all. It's a major piece of silverware. It goes down on the history books as that, and we should be celebrating. And we should be just closing off all the noise. Go out and have fun. Let's go out and enjoy this moment, because we don't know when it's going to come around again. And to those fans, like I say, playing it down, right, that's your opinion. I think you're lying. I think you would take it. I think you're being a little bit disrespectful. But hey, that's the route you want to go down. That's the route you want to go down. But we will celebrate this moment and this cup win like there is no tomorrow. And the party on the 29th of March will be like something no one has ever seen before. It's going to be absolutely crazy, because we just want to pay thanks to Eddie Howe. We want to pay thanks to the players and the owners as well for taking Newcastle United from a club that was just existing. That's all it was doing. It was just about breathing under Mike Ashley. And they've turned it into a club that competes at the very, very highest level and wins things. I mean, can you imagine a few years ago, before the takeover, saying Newcastle United are not only going to have played in the Champions League, but they're going to win a cup? We would have laughed you out the room if anyone suggested that, because it just wasn't on Mike Ashley's agenda. But here we are with ambitious owners who want to see this as a start of something very, very special. And we've already had 2.5, 3 years of great memories, fantastic memories, because of the players they've brought in, the Champions League experience, the getting to the final the last time, and actually, the progress in the FA Cup as well. It is something that matters. But we have to make sure, or Eddie Howe and the club have to make sure, that there's more to follow, there's more to come, and I'm sure there will be. But what a breath of fresh air to be a Newcastle United reporter, Newcastle United fan, and looking at it and saying, you know what, this is a club that means business. You felt that on Sunday. They got the business done. And hopefully that serves as an added boost to get them over the line and get that 5th place secured, maybe even 4th, and qualify for the Champions League. And what a season that would be. First major piece of silverware since 1969 and a spot in the Champions League. Absolutely tremendous. You would have taken either one of those at the beginning of the season, but why not now go for both? We've got one in the bag. Let's go and get that Champions League spot, and we can have an even bigger celebration at the end of the season. Well, this has been the Everything is Black and White podcast. Do let me know in the comments your thoughts on today's episode. What do you think of these influencers and fans from other clubs playing down Newcastle United's achievements? Do you think it is simply because they know Newcastle United fans will bite? Do you think it's their genuine belief? Or do you just not care and you're going to celebrate this in any way that you want? That's the kind of train of thought I'm on. I just laugh in the face of those influencers and fans who are playing down Newcastle's achievement, because we're going to celebrate it. We should celebrate it. We'll continue to celebrate it. Do hit thumbs up, do hit like, do hit subscribe, do get into the comments, and watch out for that interview with Clive Tilsley on Saturday morning. It's an absolute belter. There's a chance as well to win his commentary chart from the final. One's coming into the office, one's going to be given away as a prize. So look out for the episode. That competition will run next week. Do also get your tickets for our live event with Ryan Taylor and James Perch. And I will look forward to seeing you on the live with a very special guest on Monday for the Monday Show.